next game up. It's interesting. This is our first high school game that I was able to break down using the system. Um, and interesting to see the results. So I picked a game from one of the Utah tournaments in March, or excuse me, in February there. So this is the fifth place game. It is 680 versus LA Premier. And the reason I do these things is every Tuesday morning I have my aquatics class. Can't be at the pool because we don't have a pool while it's getting repaired, and I can't be with them during class. So what we do is we watch one quarter of a boys game, and then the next week we watch one quarter of a girls game, and we kind of talk about it, work through it. When we started with international levels and have worked our way all the way down to high school now, and next up will be a high school girls game, and I'll also get everybody that Croatia game. Okay, so first of all, LA Premier. Okay, so work through it here. So we had LA Premier versus 680. Okay, LA Premier was in the dark caps, 680 was in the white caps, and I did not get their players or anything of that nature. So this is all of their players basically, which is the same as their team stats, right? So in theory, they're the same. Okay, and that's the best part is I'm working through figuring out if there's any flaws in the data as I do this. So for when I start my season, which sounds like it might start next week. Okay, so LA Premier, they won the game 14-13. Okay, they had periods where they were up for as many as 3 and 4 goals, and then 680 would kind of battle back. So it's kind of interesting to see the difference in the stats here. So, right, 29 attempts, 34 attempts in relation. Difference is LA shot the ball much better. Okay, and then if you look at the exclusion, was 5 drawn and 3 drawn. Okay, and sprints won. I'm not sure why my sprints number is still not calculating correctly, so got to do some work on that. They also drew 3 penalties, which is a big factor in this game. Okay, they were 4 for 5 on the 6-on-5. Okay, scored 4 goals for the 5 attempts. Okay, but actually shooting, they were 4 for 6 shooting. They did get one possession where they got 2 shots. Okay, and that really is pretty much the difference in the game combined with the 3 penalty goals that they got. Okay, or 2 penalty goals that they got. Okay, so LA Premier had 11 saves, 680 had 8 saves. Otherwise, the numbers look pretty close to the same. The big one here is 680 had 11 steals, which really contributed to them having a good chance to keep it close. Okay, let's take a look at the bottom stats here. So on the bottom here is what type of action it was. Okay, so sorry about that. What type of action it was. So this is an even goal. So that is any sort of center attack, perimeter attack, a post up, a drive. Okay, those are all even up goals, and everything else is broken down on the side. Okay, so even up, they were 6 for 18 shooting. They had 32 attempts. 10 of them were turnovers. They had 1 drawn exclusion, and I need to add the penalty on this one here. Okay, on counterattacks, okay, they were 2 for 2 shooting. Okay, so both their chances they had on their counterattacks, they scored. Draw exclusions 1, turnovers 0. Okay, and in relation to 680's counterattack, they were much more efficient. Okay, so much more efficient there. And if you look at the 6-meter direct, 680 scored 2 6-meter directs, where LA Premier didn't take a single one. But as we talked about earlier, the 6-on-5 is massive, which included with the penalties really makes things adjusted. They actually drew exclusion also on the 6-on-5. Okay. Now, if you want to look at how you transitioned out of positions, so LA Premier, after 680 scored, LA Premier was 4 for 13 shooting and had 15 attempts. Okay. 680 was 2 for 4, so kind of both the same realistically a little bit after goals, but this is where you see the big ones. So LA Premier after 680 missed was 53%. shooting. So really good. And they had 20 attempts, so lots of these after miss attempts. And then after turnovers also. So that's kind of how it coordinates out. And if you look to that after miss, right, they drew an exclusion, a penalty, really opportunistic, and got kind of the win through there. Okay, now if we look over here at the individual stats for the teams, okay, so this is LA Premier's shooting chart. Okay, so LA Premier on the penalty was 2 for 3. They were 1 for 1 over here. Missed a lot of shots here at center and at the post. Okay, and then 6 on 5. This is where they got their goals. Same thing here, shooting position where they shot the ball and scored their goals. So really struggled at high right. Did a good job of not missing the cage, which is really a crucial factor in scoring. Okay, and I just think I didn't code their timeouts properly, but that's okay. Soon this will be exclusion action, and it'll say where they drew their exclusions to, so that'll be another interesting factor as we go. Okay, if I want to look at 680, 680 looks quite different here. Okay, almost all their goals are on the inside. They did the weak side post attack quite a bit, and this is where they drew exclusions, drew a penalty, drew a goal. Okay, this is where they really were drew lots of action there. Okay, scored their goals from those post attacks. Okay, if you look here on the 6 on 5, okay, really kind of the one spot was the shooter. Right, they had 3 of their shots. Okay, but if you see, they had a few shots that were missed all over, and part of that is the couple extra saves that the LA Premier guy had. Okay, shot types, where it came from. Okay, like I said, that attack on that post is where they got a lot of action from. Okay, and then they had the couple 6-meter directs that really kept the game close. Okay, so those are the stats of the game. Hopefully everybody likes it. Let me know if you see any problems or issues that you think that I could fix and adapt. If we do look at the advanced stats, see if the advanced stats are there. Really the big one is possessions, how many possessions were played, shooting percentage with shooting with penalties taken into account, turnover plus minus. Yeah, nothing too exciting on that stuff at that point. So let me get the goals. Okay, so here's the goals from LA Premier and 680. Thanks everybody for watching.
Everyone's still getting warmed up. Shea Gilliard. That ball comes through. Down for 680. Still scoreless. Number 4, Timothy Kerr. Just under progress so far. 4:55 in the game in the first period. If you're just joining us, 680 in the white with their first goal there. Number 3, Wyatt Mundullis. Strikes first for 680. LA Premier looking for an opportunity here to respond. 4:44 here in the first period. That's in. Wow. Right off the fingertip meter. Assigned. Elias. Number 8, Piero Arienti. Takes that. Finish foul there. Number 8, Piero Arienti. Working against number 9 in center, Len Coral. Inside the 2, no good. As pretty as it was, it's going to come back. Baxter, Chelsea. Into 13, Jackson Tierney. Watson, shooting, field block by number 9, Len Coral. Exclusion, number 11 in transition, Benjamin Libby goes to the box. 6 on 5 opportunity here for LA Premier. Shot there by number 9. Number 4, Timothy Kerr restarts. Back into Grant Watson. Watson down into 3. Wyatt. Look at this. Shooting this weekend. Exclusion. That one's on Wyatt. Look at this. Comes through. Number 12. Shea Gilliard. That ball coming around into Dean Strausser. Missed the 2 pop there. Gonna be up there. Number 3. Wyatt Mundelez. Gonna get it live there. Send it back here for LA Premier. Shot coming. Number 9. Finish there by Way, but ends up in the hands of 14. Christopher Arapian. Ordinary. Number 4, Timothy Kerr. Puts that ball down into Grant Watson. Grant Watson working for 680. Down to number 4, Timothy Kerr. Kerr comes in at number 7. Brett sends that in. That goes, makes it. That ball goes into contra foul. Big elbow backwards. Push off. Sends it over to LA Premier, number 2, Dean Strausser. Ordinary. Down line into number 3, elevates. Sends it up to 4, Timothy Kerr, who's off the crossbar. Baxter Chelsom chases that down to keep the ball fair. Looks for an outlet. Moves it up to number 20, Andre Dolan. That's in. Number 12. Shot deflected out by Dean Strausser, looking for a 2-meter restart. Comes through, delivers it to the hands of Grant. Shot there by number 14, Dart. Christopher of LA Premier. One to miss. LA Premier comes down here, makes the turn. That's number 5. Elias Storthart. Punch foul back to LA Premier. Dean Strausser hits, scores. Into the hands of Grant Watson. Watson back hand there by Piero Ari. Ordinary foul, number 9. That's a big shot by Jacob Engelberg. On the other side, Grant Watson gets the quick escape. Ryland Flat. Back into number 3, Wyatt Mundelius. Inside, coming, number 4, Timothy Kerr kicks that out. That's a nice cross kick. Five-meter penalty. I believe that was assigned to number 6 White, Nicholas Borden, waiting for confirmation. That ball, Jackson Tierney looking. That goes in. 680 ball. Wyatt attacking, unimpeded, running into number 12, but throwing the ball into Baxter Chelsom. Good defense there by Shea Gilliam. 11-9, 15 seconds remaining. That ball goes down deep to number 12, Shea Gilliam in response, and he puts that in, number 5. That ball taken away by 680. Down line to number 2, Grant Watson. Watson at the 1, sends that back around over to number 7, Brett Shea. Back on the way here. Comes in. That's a nice bat down there by number 8. Gillian moves that ball forward up to Dean Strausser. Strausser with the left hand. Back. Playing pass here. Back and forth with one another. That ball comes in. Ordinary. Number 12. Shea Gillian. 5 seconds remaining on the shot. Puts it in. Inside again. Just missed that time. Number 2, Grant Watson. Sneaks in there. Inside. Puts it away. That ball forward. Ordinary foul. Number 3, Wyatt Mundelius. Back to Mundelius. Number 9, Ryland Flagg. In and off the goalie. Number 1, Baxter Chelsom. Restart here. Burn as much time off of this as possible. 3, 2, 1. That ball gets dumped. Trevor Alamillo has to run that ball down. 3, Wyatt Mundelius. Working, gets the ordinary foul. I feel a direct shot coming. Puts it in.
Okay, that's the game.